It's actually a pretty nice morning out. Gonna get some feed troughs set up, and we're gonna take the tires off the politician, put new ones on it. The other ones are shot. Yeah, I'll show you what we're talking about feed trough. So that's our old feed trough, and we use that one more. Well, I guess when we were corralling animals in here, basically before the barn was built. So we'd use it to corral animals, to basically get them to come up, and then we'd snag the ones we need. Or during the rotational grazing, basically every time they made a full lap, we'd give them some grain. We don't do that anymore, and now you can see that all this is gravelled, basically from right about there all the way down to that little corner and across to the barn. So all this is gravelled over here, and we want to put our feed lot or feed trough in here. This is going to be what's known as a feed lot. Basically, whenever the animals are in the barn, we'll open this barn door over here. After we fill the trough up, they'll come out, they'll eat their food, and then we push them back in the barn. For those of you wondering, well, why wouldn't you, or saying, hey, you know, why don't you just let them do what they wanted out here? Well, we don't want them eating once we bring them in mid-December, we don't want them eating off the grass anymore, because there's still going to be green grass. But the farther down they eat, so anything below 4 inches above the topsoil, or I don't think I said that right. Basically the 4 inches above the topsoil, we don't want them eating there. That's where parasites hang out, and parasites actually thrive in cold, moist weather. And that's basically what all of fall is cold, moist weather. Winter is cold, moist weather as well. The only thing that really kills these parasites is the sun drying them up. Anyhow, we don't want them eating that, so this makes it to where there's no grasses in here for them to pick at, to eat. This is all weeds that are dead now. We killed them off. And their feed trough will be right down here. So they'll come out. This will all be fenced off so they can't get out of it. And then they'll get pushed right back in the barn. So let's get started getting these 4x4s ready, and then we'll put them in the ground. All right, so all of our 4x4s are ready. Basically, we sharpened the ends to make them go in the ground easier. And I'm hoping that the ground is moist enough and soft enough, essentially, that we can use the skid steer and basically put this in the ground, and then put the skid steer, the boom from the skid steer, the bottom of the forks, on top of it. Use the weight of the skid steer to push it down. It doesn't have to go down tremendously far, but we'd like it to be about a foot in the ground. That would be ideal. Anything more than that would be great, but a foot would be kind of the minimum that we want to see. We're gonna come back to that. I'm waiting for Chrissy, because I'm gonna need her to hold the board up while I'm in the skid steer and then not get set on it. Until then, this trailer plug, I'm not sure what's going on inside of it, but it must have some corrosion or something. It doesn't make a good connection anymore. We noticed that when we were bringing our new tractor home. Midway home, the trailer brakes stopped working after we put all that work into, putting the new brakes on, change up the wiring and stuff. They're working pretty well. And then, like I said, midway, so we drove up there 3 hours, drove back a good hour and some change with the tractor, and then the brakes stopped working. And we got out, we wiggled the plug around, got nothing. Did some continuity tests with the multimeter, and that showed us that basically when you connected on this side of the plug, and then there's an open spot in the wiring up here that we checked as well. So when you connect on this side of the plug to there, it had pretty poor continuity. There's a lot of resistance. So we need to replace it. Pretty easy to replace, at least. Got that going for us. Looks cut. I should have brought a knife with me. I think I can get this done before church. We're gonna move it into the shop. As you can see, these tires, they're shot. They're just old and ragged. They need replaced. They actually blew out on Jason when he was using it, which I told him it was very possible it was gonna happen. I'm surprised it didn't blow out on us last winter when we were using it. So we're gonna take it in there. I'm gonna take the wheels off. I need to take all these wheels with me so we can get the new tires mounted. As you can see, it got a little colder since we went to church. I don't know why, but it did. It's not forecasted. So we're all gonna help put these posts in so we can get done quick. So on here, see that we've got every 9 feet, we've got it marked to put a post in, and we'll do that all the way down. The PVC pieces that we're putting on are all 10 foot, so it'll have a little overlap onto the next one.
I just put my hand right on top, right?
Perfect. It's a good buffer between the metal and the board, so we kept the board.
You know, yeah. That's what I thought. It was getting there.
No,
More than that one is.
Well, as you saw earlier, the skid steer couldn't push it through, probably because the layer of gravel on here is my guess. And this ground was actually compacted pretty hard from when we were building this barn. We got the 80/30 out, full rack of weights on the front, so we've got quite a bit of weight that we can put on it. We're gonna go ahead and use that, and then we'll straighten them up once we get done. Change of plans again because I'm lazy and I don't want to drive these by hand. Jason's got a attachment to go on the skid steer, and he's gonna come pick me up and we're gonna grab that and we'll use it. see the smile on his face when he gets out. No, on your right. See where all the other boards are hanging up? There you go. All right, we got most of it done. I'm gonna have to buy one more piece. As you can see, no, it is not perfectly straight. We can only straighten them up so much because once they got down so low, the rocks and everything else that are in the way made it to where it's not possible. But either way, it will hold grain for these guys. They'll eat out of it, not the end of the world. And this is kind of a temporary deal. Eventually we're going to set up a little bit different of a trough setup, but we're going to see, we want to see how this goes because we got to get in and out with the tractor, with the manure spreader. So if this works out well, then we'll know our more permanent solution, what is going to be a good answer. You like it? Mm-hmm. You gonna use it as a slide? No. No. I mean, you could. As you may or may not be able to tell, we're just cleaning up. I got one more quick thing to do today, and that's take the last tire off of the Politician. We actually have new tires right here on the bed of the truck. We just need to get all the rims and everything so we can take it all with us in order to get them swapped out. Now this tire here actually still holds air and isn't terrible compared to the others, but as you can see, it is not a very good tire. And surprised that they even made it through the winter with us spreading manure with them. Jason used it a couple weeks ago, and the tires threw in the towel at that point and said, nope, we're done. So it is what it is, though. We knew that was going to be a risk. We told Jason, you know, if they blow, it's fine. We need to put new ones on it. Not a big deal. So he actually was able to limp it back, and we just pulled it in here, as you've seen on the video, and we'll take these tires off real quick, get them swapped around, or get them taken out, get the tires swapped, and we'll put them back on probably in a couple weeks, actually, because I don't think there's going to be time for it here shortly. Other priorities are in the making, as you've seen probably in previous videos. If you want a butt rub, and then you gotta get some kisses. Yeah. My goodness, you're a needy puppy. Go back, Gage. Oh,